Kent State men's basketball look to get back to business against the Fresno State Bulldogs. Do they return to the win column Saturday night?
It was a grayout for Ohio State this past weekend. Can they defend the shoe against Michigan State and stay atop the college football playoff standings?
Their biggest test of the year on the road against the Ravens. Can they bring the Birds down? We have the answer and more as Sports Corner starts right now. Hello everybody, welcome to Sports Corner. I'm Liv Sharp, that's Blake Galoja, and Kent State basketball is back.
After a disappointing loss to James Madison on Thursday, the Flashes look to rebound against Fresno State.
Let's take it to the Mac Center for the highlights. And I tell you, there is no better venue than the Mac Center. A gorgeous night. Let's get into the action. Giovanni Santiago swings it out to Reggie Bass. Bass pauses, dribbles, and banks a three to put Kent ahead by 4 in the first half. Bulldogs now on offense. Donovan Yap Jr. misses a 3, but Enoch Bouchie collects the rebound and hits the two-hand slam to tie this game up at 6. Bouchie passes to Xavier Dussel outside the arc with a clean three-point jumper, and Fresno State takes a 1-point lead. Brendan Moss for the Flashes comes off the bench, tries the layup, doesn't quite make it, but Chris Payton on cleanup crew comes in to tip it in for 2. Now it's Yap Jr. He's turning over the ball to the Flashes, and Julius Rollins has it on the floor, dishes it over to Reggie Bass, who drives down the court, passes it to Tyler Freeman, but watch out, Tyler Freeman. That's going to get blocked by Jalen Weaver. But hey, the Bulldogs, they were baking turnovers in the MAC. Here's another one. Payton on the fast break with a slam dunk to put the Flashes up by 4. Santiago with the lob to Jalen Sullinger. Shot clock winding down. He leaps into the air and puts up a 3. Bang! As the buzzer sounds, Sullinger with a great night, 17 points, shooting 5 of 12. And you can put this one in the books. Flashes win it 79-69. Here's Coach Senderoff, thoughts on the win.
It's great to come back and get a win tonight. Again, great crowd. Our guys played really energized. It was great to see. To be able to respond the way that we did to Thursday was fantastic. It says a lot about the character in the locker room. And it's great to get another win against a quality opponent. They're gonna have a good season in their league. He's a very good coach, and it was an important win for us and a really good win for us.
I think my teammates just put me in the right positions, and I'm shooting shots that I work on all the time. So just confidence and letting it go.
Just something I knew he could always do. Him being the 6th man of the year last year was just a little sample size of what he can do, and just and what he's doing now is just all the hard work he's put in, and just watching him is just make me a proud teammate for real. And all the work, this is great.
In some midweek action, Kent State tried to rally but couldn't finish the job against Bowling Green at home, 49-14. Despite the score, the Flashes got career nights from 3 playmakers. Ulatowski threw for a career-best 289 yards, completing 23 of 40 passes with a touchdown. Luke Floria caught 9 passes for 95 yards, and Jalen Thomas had 75 yards on 18 carries with a score. The Flashes will be back on Saturday against Ball State.
Loss, credit to Bowling Green. I think they got bowl eligible with this one, so give credit to them. A good program, doing it the right way. Scott's doing a great job with those guys. They did a great job coaching today, got their guys ready to roll, and credit to them. Obviously, we got to play better. A lot of young guys play today, and you saw that in the first half of this football game, at linebacker especially. And we've got to learn from it. We got to grow on defense for sure. And then offense, I thought we took steps in the right direction, but we got to protect the ball and do things just a little bit better than what we were doing today. But proud of our team's fight. I tell you that much. They fought to the end, which was good. We got to execute to the end as well.
The Kent State cross-country team had an impressive weekend at the Great Lakes Regional Championships. Beatty Baugh broke his own Kent State record in the 10K for the time of 30 minutes and 2.4 seconds, placing 13th. Baugh wasn't the only one setting PRs, as the next 3 Flashes to cross the finish line also claimed personal bests. On the women's side, Kent State placed 26th out of 32 teams. The season will carry on for Baugh as he heads to his 2nd NCAA Regional Championship on Saturday.
And we'll move this show to the court as Kent State put on a defensive clinic Sunday evening to open the season with a 64-55 win at Louisiana Lafayette. Although it was a defensive showcase, junior Jenna Batch scored a career-high 15 points to lead the Flashes in the scoring column. Head coach Todd Starkey said the team did not shoot the ball well, and they look to keep the defensive energy and add some offense on their big matchup in Baton Rouge against number 7 LSU.
On their last road trip of the season, the Kent State volleyball team was defeated by Eastern Michigan on Saturday 3-0, but had some notable individual performances. The sophomores had impressive showings as Mackenzie McGuire had 10 kills and sophomore Kendall White posted a double-double with 21 assists and 12 digs. They will finish out the season hosting Ohio on Wednesday in the MAC.
Wrestling is back in full swing as over the weekend Pablo Castro picked up a pair of victories despite the team dropping a pair of duels. Victory 6 and 7 of the year for Castro came as he had a dominant 13-1 major decision over Duke's Ray Adams in the last match of the day. Aside from Castro's undefeated performance, Billy Messinger and Aaron Ferguson went 1-1. They'll head next week to Annapolis, Maryland to compete in the Navy Classic on Saturday.
It was another great week of high school football. Let's get into some highlights, kicking things off with Hudson taking on Walsh. That's right, we've got the D2 regional semifinal. The Knights taking on the Riverside Beavers. Let's get into the action.
Walsh got off to a quick start as someone had to check Aiden Henry's gloves after this disgusting one-handed grab for 6. Great catch there. This time, Walsh's quarterback, Keller Milton's going to make a bad decision as he rolls to the outside and fires it, but is picked off by Lucas Troutman, and he has a nice return into Warrior territory. Back to Walsh's Aiden Henry as he snags another catch and takes about 4 explorers to bring him down. Look at that muscle. We'll see a little more from Henry later on. Now, quarterback Moten's going to show off the wheels as he keeps it himself for a nifty run and the first down, juking out a few defenders on the Hudson side to pick up that first down. Now, Aiden Henry's doing his best Travis Hunter impression as he plays both sides of the ball and comes up with a pick that will seal the game for Walsh. They win it 35-14.
Now we've got the D2 regional semifinal, Hoban taking on Riverside. Let's get into the action. Riverside QB Mikey Maloney looking for a quick check down, but Tanner Mintz says, not in my house. He's going to reel it in for a pick 6, and Hoban jumps out to a 7-0 lead over the Beavers in the first quarter. Caleb Jones takes the handoff for the Knights. He's going to shove his way through the D-line, and Hoban now has a 14-0 lead with 46 seconds left in the first quarter, but Jones is not done. We jump ahead to the third. Jones has the ball, puts his head down, and just keeps turning his legs to get the touchdown and put the Knights ahead 21-0. The Riverside Beavers are in the red zone, desperately trying to get something started, but Maloney, forced to throw with pressure coming, gets intercepted by Caleb Jones. Yes, the very same Caleb Jones who scored 2 of Riverside's touchdowns. He is doing it on both sides of the ball. Maloney looking to redeem himself with his 2 picks, and he does it with a massive throw downfield to Brady McKnight. Time is ticking down for the Beavers. They're starting to put it all together. Maloney has a big throw to Ethan Baker, but the Hoban defense will end this one victorious. They will take down Maloney with a sack to end the game. Hoban will win this one 21-0 and advance to face Walsh in a Holy War playoff game for the ages.
And some other high school football scores around for the OHSAA playoffs. St. Edward's knocking off McKinley 41-17. Avon holding off Olmsted Falls 33-23. Medina winning a close one against Cleveland Heights 21-20. Mogador winning it against Mineral Ridge 21-7. And Maslin beat down 35-6 against Lake.
Let's take a look at some regional final matchups taking place this Friday in Ohio. The St. Edward's Eagles will play the Medina Bees in their second straight game at Byers Field in Parma and look to make it back to the Final Four. Last time these two teams met was when Penn State's quarterback Drew Aller had his final high school game. We'll have a holy war from InfoCision Stadium in Akron as the Walsh Jesuit Warriors will take on the Hoban Knights. Avon will look to stay perfect on the year as they take on the Highland Hornets from Pat Catan Stadium in Strongsville. The Maslin Tigers will try and do the same against the Green Bulldogs, who are coming off a gritty 10-0 win against Canal Winchester. That game will be at North Canton Memorial Stadium, home of the Hoover Vikings. Kirtland is aiming to add their 4th state title in 7 years, but they'll have to get through Mogador first. That game will be at Nordonia.
This packed weekend of college football had some big-time games take place. We tell you who came out top as we go campus to campus.
Good morning. Hope you all had a good weekend and are ready to be inspired. One quick thing I want to remind you guys to be studying.
Major key alert. Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Today we're talking about inspirational quotes.
You want to get that paper? You better turn in that paper and get an A+. That's a major key. Another one. Mogul talk. You want to reach the mountaintop? You got to go hard. To succeed, you have to believe. Stay focused. Fly higher than the eagle. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote from recent history?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
Welcome back. The Ohio State Buckeyes try to stay #1 ranked in the country. Could they get it done against the Michigan State Spartans? Well, let's take a look at the shoe down in Columbus. As the Buckeyes in those nice gray out uniforms. And Marvin Harrison Jr., he was tied for 3rd best odds to win Heisman behind Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix. Well, he wanted to help those odds out, and he did that quickly in this game as he put up a hat trick of touchdowns. 7 receptions, 149 yards, and 3 touchdowns for Marvin Harrison Jr. in this one as he was just doing it all over the place. That one, a nice inside route over the middle for 6. Well, Travion Henderson also wanted to get involved, this time on the ground game. 9 yards out, he punches it in. Touchdown number 8 on the year for him. He had a good night, 63 yards on 13 carries. Cade Stover, he's been quietly having a good season for Ohio State, 2nd in both receiving yards and touchdown, only to Mr. Harrison Jr. And Ohio State wins this one 38-3. The Buckeyes host Minnesota next week while the Spartans visit the Hoosiers of Indiana.
Good evening, Portage County. My name is Alex Isaiah, and I'm here as your assistant to take you campus to campus. And we will start in Happy Valley as Penn State takes on Michigan with the newly appointed interim head coach, Sherrone Moore. And we start at 3rd and 11 for Michigan as J.J. McCarthy hands it off to Donovan Edwards. He breaks a tackle and he high steps into the end zone as Michigan will go up 14-3, take an early big lead. Edwards had 52 yards and a touchdown on the day. And we go now to Penn State in the red zone. Drew Aller takes the QB draw, runs it, follows his blocks, and goes practically untouched in the end zone. He is fired up as Penn State goes into that going to half on a high note, down only 1 score. In the second half now, another QB run for Aller, but this time he loses the football and it's picked up by Makari Page as Michigan starts to agitate this Penn State offense. See the fumble there one more time. And into the 4th. You know who it is, Blake Corum doing what he does, 30-yard touchdown. If Michigan starts to stretch this lead out, you know what time it is. Michigan up 24-9. Penn State looking to answer. Aller to Theo Johnson for a touchdown as they make it a 24-15 game. Penn State looking to make something happen here late, failing on the onside kick, recovered by Mike Sandersill, as Michigan will hold on and win their 999th win in school history. No, that's not a typo.
And we head out to Florida State where the Seminoles are hosting the Miami Hurricanes. Let's get into it. It is 2nd and goal for Florida State. Trey Benson takes the handoff, finds a hole, gets tackled, but gets an assist from his lineman who just kind of hurls him into the end zone to put the Seminoles up 7-0 in the first quarter. 3rd and goal for the Canes. Emory Williams with a quick rainbow to Jacoby George, and Miami now trails 7-10 in the second quarter. Moving ahead, we are all tied up at 13, and Jordan Travis hands it off to Benson, who finds an open path and takes off running. He turns on the Jets and takes it to the house to put the Seminoles up 20-13 in the 3rd quarter. 2nd goal for the Seminoles. Travis connects with Keon Coleman, who catches the ball as he gets tackled. That is very clear PI, but that's also 6 points, and Florida State is up big, 27-13. Florida looking to close the gap, and this will certainly help. Williams launches it downfield to George, who catches it in double coverage, and he is out of here, 50-40-30. You guys know the rest. That's a house call, and Miami pulls this within 1 score. Last try for Miami on 4th and 10. Williams fires across the middle, but gets picked off as he scrambles, and that will do it. The Seminoles improve to 10-0 and avoid the upset, knocking off Miami 20-27. Blake, let's check in with my Heisman candidate, Michael Penix. How about it?
Michael Penix Jr. needs a great game as he faces a stout Utah Utes team. There's a shot of him, and we're going to start it with Mr. Penix. This one not through the air, but on the ground as he follows the blockers and finds the pylon on the left side. Washington ahead early, but this one is going to go back and forth as Jaquindon Jackson is going to run it in from 2 yards out to tie it up. But the southpaw, Penix, is going to sling it down to 34 yards to Rome Dunze for the touchdown. Roma Dunze had himself a day. Only 3 receptions, but 111 yards and 2 touchdowns for him. Hold on, Utah staying right with them as Sione Vaki receives the screen pass following some great blocks. He's bringing it all the way to the house, and Utah up on the number 5 ranked team in the country, but they're not going to go away without a fight. On 3rd down, Dylan Johnson gets some help from the offensive line and is pushed in for 6 and the lead. Jumping to the final play, Utah needing a touchdown. Bryson Barnes heaving it down the field, but it's picked off by Dominique Hampton. The Huskies survive a scare to stay undefeated at 28-35 final.
And we will head to now Sanford Stadium. As you see the big win from Washington here, Sanford Stadium, it's a big SEC matchup between Georgia and Ole Miss are starting to face off. And Jackson Dart's going to start it off. He's going to hand it off to Quishon Judkins. He's going to go 15 yards into the house as Ole Miss takes an early 7-0 lead. He's silencing the crowd there, loving the score here. And down 7, Ole Miss again. Tosses it to Judkins. He's going to find a lane and sprint through it, and he's going to get another touchdown. 2nd on the day to tie this game up early. But Georgia never wavers. Dejon Edwards goes into the end zone for a 1-yard touchdown. And Georgia, one more time. This time it's Kendall Milton, though. He muscles his way into the end zone. He would not be denied as Georgia takes a 2-touchdown lead with a little over 2 minutes left in the half. And Dart, now looking to make a play here to end the half, takes a shot, but it's picked. Javon Bullard, as Georgia keeps the momentum going to the half, and they never really looked back in this one. Another handoff. Kendall Milton, 33 yards for the touchdown. He gets his 2nd of the day, as Georgia goes up 3 touchdowns now early in the 3rd quarter. And it's not a Georgia highlight without this. Carson Beck to Brock Bowers. 8-yard touchdown as the Bulldogs continue their historic dominance in college football, showing why they have won now 27 straight games.
And finally, we end this trip in Oregon where they are hosting USC, and this one starts with a bang from the Ducks as Bo Nix sends a laser to Troy Franklin, who, despite having a defender literally in front of him, says, "See you later," as he outruns 3 defenders to take it 84 yards into the end zone to put the Ducks up 13-7. Moving ahead to the 2nd, the Ducks lead. Nix drops back and uncorks to Terrence Ferguson in the back of the end zone. Ducks rolling up 19-7. USC trying to make some moves with under 20 seconds in the half. 2nd and goal for USC. Caleb Williams, he's going to send a man in motion and takes it into the end zone himself. Little trickery there, and USC now trails Oregon 22-14. Kicking off the 4th quarter, Nix hands it off to Bucky Irving, who cuts around the left side, and it is all who's and hind ends for USC's defense as the Ducks are up 36-14. Now, Williams on 4th and goal fires to Brendan Rice, who just dances his way into the end zone. The defender doesn't think that one's a touchdown, but the referees are going to disagree with him. And now USC is down 36-21. And don't look now, but with a rushing touchdown from Austin Jones, the Trojans are trying to make this a game as they cut the deficit to 9 points, but it is too little, too late. Nix takes a knee, and the Ducks will squash the Trojans' attempt at a comeback and get the win 36-27. And we now take a look at the AP Top 10. As you can see, the top 8 remain the same. Louisville and Oregon State enter the top 10. Penn State and Ole Miss drop out of the top 10 after those losses. And the 10-0 Liberty gets ranked for the first time this season.
Well, that was an exciting week of college football. Well, one team we didn't see in that highlight was Texas A&M, and they actually fired their head coach, Jimbo Fisher. How do you think that will affect the team?
Well, Texas A&M has really plateaued over the past few years. They get this upset every now and then on a team, and you think they're doing good, but then they don't really perform anywhere past that, get to that next level. And Jimbo Fisher was a really good coach for this program. He really cultivated this team, and they gave him a good culture. And he made a lot of first-round picks. You look at Jameis Winston, E.J. Manuel, and Christian Ponder, even Johnny Manziel. But they're not NFL stars, but he helped create these people's careers, their first-round picks. And I think he's been a good coach, and I hope they can keep this culture for Texas A&M. And it'll be interesting to see who they end up replacing him with.
Well, Georgia had a big top 10 win this week. Do you think they're back to number 1?
I think they are back to number 1. I don't think they should have left number 1. This team has won 27 straight games, like I said, and it's because of Kirby Smart and this recruitment staff. They've really put together a program that people want to buy into, and he's really kept it consistent to where transfer portal is unaffected, and they've just been dominant continuously. And they will set a record this Saturday. If they win, they will have 28 straight wins, which will be a record which will set a record previously set by Alabama from 1978 to 1980. And I'm interested to see who can stop this Georgia team.
Well, how does Harbaugh's ban affect the team for Michigan?
Well, so far it hasn't really affected them. They got a big win on the road against Penn State, and they played with them before earlier in the season. And the social media team, as you saw, they were all posting, bet, bet, bet. They're motivated. They're ready for this, and it really might bring them together. Although the sharing is not over, so we'll see how they respond as it escalates moving forward.
Well, thank you so much, Alex. Another NFL Sunday is in the books. Find out which cities are having Victory Monday and which ones are having a case of the Mondays.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Just like, you know what? I'm here.
It is what it is.
We're just gonna do it.
Baltimore, Voldemort,
the boy who lived,
Voldemort
has come to die.
It's okay. Close enough, look. He does all.
I only go for the dog, though. Don't forget that. The dog. That's my best friend.
Catch the College Voice Fridays at 1 p.m. TV2 Entertainment. See what's up.
The battle for the AFC North is underway as the 5-3 Cleveland Browns traveled to Baltimore to take on the 7-2 Ravens. Let's see if the Browns could tighten the gap in the division as we take it down to MT Bank Stadium. Ravens and Browns round 2. Ravens took round 1, but the Browns are looking to even the score. 2nd and 6. Deshaun Watson drops back to throw, but it's tipped, and it's a pick 6 by Kyle Hamilton. He doesn't even have to run to the end zone. He just kind of walks, and Baltimore is up 7-0 in the first 40 seconds of the game. Now for the Ravens, Lamar Jackson hands it off to Keaton Mitchell. He's going to take it off the left side. Tightrope walks along the sideline and into the end zone, and the Ravens are up 14-0. The Browns offense is just non-existent in the first half. We jump ahead of the third. Ravens up 17-19. Jackson fires a dart across the middle to Odell Beckham Jr. He throws up the peace signs because he is out of here. Beckham scores against his former team, takes it 40 yards to the house. Well, I mean, you can count on 3 things: death, taxes, and a Kareem Hunt touchdown. That's his 5th in as many weeks. Puts the Browns within 1 score down, 24-17, and he's doing push-ups because why not? He hasn't done enough manual labor yet today. And it is 2nd and goal for the Ravens, and here comes the bus, specifically Gus the Bus Edwards, who fights his way into the end zone to put the Ravens up 31-17, but there is some kind of magic in the 4th quarter. Browns. Watson scrambles out of the pocket, evades the pressure, and hits Elijah Moore for 6, and don't look now, but the Browns are down 1 score. Lamar looking to respond, extend that lead, but we've got another tip drill. This time it is picked off by Greg Newsome, who returns it 34 yards for a pick 6. The Browns missed the extra point, so they are down 30-31, but they charge down the field and get within field goal range, and it is Dustin Hopkins on to win it from 40 yards out and book it. The Browns have completed the comeback to once again beat one of the top teams in the NFL.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Anthony Leonardi, and as you can see, there were some fun games in Week 10. Now let's take a look at them, starting in the Steel City. We're going to get at Acrisure Stadium, and the Steelers are going to go off kind of quickly. They get a first quarter score at the hands of Najee Harris, loving the block jerseys and loving the run game. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. We're going to talk now, Jordan Love. He was seeing the field relatively well in the first half. Finding Romeo Doubs in the corner of the end zone. Yes, he did get both feet down. And you can notice there, Levi Wallace, what's up with that effort, man? But now we're going to go to Jaylen Warren, who was the highlight of this rushing offense, tallying 101 yards and a touchdown on the day. He's a very explosive runner, and he is proving himself in that running back room. And now Jordan Love, like I said, seeing the field well. He has all day to throw and finds Jaden Reed over the top. And once again, Levi Wallace in the area, and it just not a lot of effort out of him. I think he could be a liability in that defense. Who is not a liability? Keanu Neal, as he's in the right spot at the right time, and he gets this interception off the deflection from Patrick Peterson. Jordan Love with the game on the line, and the defense comes up big once again. This time, DeMonte KZ is going to close this game out 23-19, but we're not done yet, folks. There is a scuffle at the end of the game as a player is pushed into the special teams coach, resulting in this scuffle.
Well, the Bengals see that the Steelers win. They got to keep pace in the AFC North, and Joe Burrow is going to help out with that as he puts it on the money to ex-Dolphin Trenton Irwin. Irwin's doing a good job filling in for some of those Bengals receivers that have been injured throughout the season. Well, man, this was a quarterback battle as Stroud answers early in the second to rookie Tank Dell, his 5th touchdown of the campaign, and it's all knotted up at 7. 20-10 now. Houston taking the lead. Back and forth we go. End of the third. Jamar Chase just burns the Texans secondary, and Burrow puts it on the money to make it a 3-point game as we go into the fourth quarter. Well, we saw a passing touchdown. Let's see Stroud use the legs as he sees everyone covered, so he decides to take it in himself to make it a 10-point game once again. Joe Mixon crashing it in from 2 yards out, and we have ourselves a ball game. Well, look at this. The new kicker, Matt Amendola, walks it off for the Texans 38 yards out. He was 3 for 3 on the day, and the Houston Texans improved to 5-4 on the year.
We head out to Minnesota where they lead 10-3 against the New Orleans Saints. New Vikes QB Josh Dobbs does it himself. He's going to scramble out of the pocket, cut around the corner, and he will leap into the end zone for a rushing touchdown, and that will put Minnesota up 17-3 in the second. With 22 seconds left in the half, Dobbs is going to drop back to pass with a laser across the middle to TJ Hawkinson, 28 yards, and the Vikings extend their lead to 24-3 going into the half. And famous Jameis Winston in to replace Derek Carr. Winston launches it over to Chris Olave, who makes a catch that could be a candidate for catch of the year. I don't know, folks. You tell me. He gets 2 feet down, and the Saints now trail 11-27. I really don't know how he made that catch. 3rd and 8 for the Saints. Winston scrambles out of the pocket and fires to a wide open A.T. Perry, who hangs onto the ball to get the Saints within 10 points. And with under 2 minutes to play, Jameis trying to move the Saints down the field, but instead gets a game-sealing interception, and the new man on the Minnesota Viking leads them to a second win, 27-19 over the Saints. Minnesota improves to 6-4, and New Orleans is now 5-5.
And now we're going to go to Glendale, Arizona for the return of quarterback Kyler Murray. But we're going to get started as the only passing touchdown of the day is going to be Scott Miller on his only reception of the day. The Falcons again, this time Bijan Robinson, fantasy managers, you could smile this Sunday. He got in the end zone and increases the lead for the Falcons. And now the Cardinals, both men coming off the IR, James Conner, Kyler Murray keeps it, but he gets in for 6. What a return for Kyler Murray, seeing the end zone. And, you know, the Falcons didn't get the ball in the air a whole lot, but they did run it on the ground for another touchdown. And that would be their 3rd rushing of the day. And, it was such a good game for Kyler Murray to come back to. What a game for the Cardinals as they pull off the win, 25-23.
Man, oh man, did we have some walk-offs by kickers in this week as Justin Herbert and the Chargers are hosting the 6-2 Detroit Lions. The Lions' running game was marvelous as the duo of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery combined for 193 yards on the ground, including this 35-yard dash from Gibbs. Well, he stepped out at the 1, but have no worry as they give it right back to him for 6. Chargers are going to be down 17-3 early in this one. In the second quarter, Herbert is going to go back to Mr. Reliable, Keenan Allen. Allen had a huge game. He finished with 175 yards on 11 catches. Well, we saw Gibbs break off a big run. Now it's Montgomery's turn as he goes the distance from 75 yards out. Terrific blocking downfield by Lions receivers. Well, this was just a fantasy football manager heaven for this game as everybody was getting involved. Everybody was getting touches. One big man, we haven't called the name yet, Amon-Ra St. Brown. 20-yard out screen pass, touchdown. He finished with 156 yards on 8 catches and that 6-pointer. Chargers down by a score in the 4th. I wonder who Herbert's going to target. Well, way too much room for Keenan Allen as he snags the catch and runs it in for touchdown number 2 on the day, and we're all tied up. Well, look what it comes down to once again. Riley Patterson calls game. He sends the Lions to a 7-2 start and does just that from 41 yards out. Lions hang on in the shootout. Anthony, which player stood out the most to you over the past few weeks?
Well, as you can see in lots of these highlights, it was a really run-dominated week, and over the past weeks, I'm going to have to go with CeeDee Lamb. He just had 3 straight 150-yard games, and he's scorching hot, making highlight plays over and over again, and he's just been outstanding. Close to A.J. Brown, but, you know, as of late, I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb.
And Anthony, what team would you consider to be a dark horse playoff contender as the season goes on?
Well, we all thought that the injury to Kirk Cousins would derail the Vikings' comeback season, but Josh Dobbs might have them in the position to snatch that 7th seed. Couple that with Justin Jefferson coming back soon, I think they could have a shot. You know, the pass game hasn't taken that much of a hit. Dobbs is seeing the field well, and they're getting hot at the right time. If it continues, I see them making the playoffs.
And what are your thoughts on the Cleveland Browns this season?
Oh, man, there's a lot of mixed feelings. You know, sometimes Stefanski, he has a great game, sometimes not so much. And you know what? I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll say he's been pretty solid despite the quarterback situation with the injuries to Watson and who's starting in the games. But speaking of Watson, we need to see more consistency out of him if we're going to say that the Browns are a real contender. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's atrocious, and if they want a chance, they gotta be consistent. Myles Garrett always gives them a chance. He looks great this season, and if they keep winning the tough games, like the ones against Baltimore, like the one against San Francisco, I think they can genuinely be a playoff contender in the NFL.
Well, thank you so much, Anthony. And as always, you've got some Monday Night Football action going on right now. The Broncos are up on the Bills 3-0. Make sure to check out that game once you're done watching SportsCorner here at 9 p.m.
Well, the Cavs and Warriors were back in action Sunday. Did the Cavs come out on top on the road? Find out and more when we go around the NBA.
You think you're just checking your messages or telling a friend you're on your way. They could be the last words you ever type. Make sure you get where you're going.
Thank you, dear. Well, you're very supple. Just like I was at your age. Back then, I was a sex expert. Used to call me the buttered biscuit. I know about birth control, too. So you can ask me anything, baby.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
For the first time since the 2016 NBA Finals, the Cleveland Cavaliers had the chance to defeat the Warriors of Golden State at home. Let's see if Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs could get it done. As we see Spider right there, we're going to see him early on in this one. He just nets the 3 right in Curry's face. But hold on 1 second. Curry can do the exact same 3 on the other end as he cuts that deficit in half for the Warriors. Warriors were playing chase all night as a bad pass from CP3 leads to a breakaway, and Karis LeVert slams it down from Darius Garland. LeVert had a great game this one. We're going to see his whole bag these next few plays. This one, as he's got Looney on him, takes the big man to the paint, up and under, and the foul. He had 22 points, 5 boards, and 3 assists, doing a little bit of everything, including this corner tray to extend that Cavalier lead back to double digits. Spida says, hold on, don't forget about me. I can knock down the 3 as well as anybody in the NBA as he sinks another one. Spida finished only with 21 points, but also added 7 boards, 5 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal. Curry doing what he does best. 30 points for him on the night, knocking down 4 trays, including that and 1. things got a little chippy here in the third quarter, as who else would it be? Draymond Green getting in the mix of everything. Donovan Mitchell not liking that. Green ends up getting asked to hit the showers early as he is ejected. Other than that, Green did not do much in this one. 8 points and 5 boards for him. Curry keeping this one a game. 5-point deficit. Nice mid-range jumper from him. Look at the big man pass the ball. Jared Allen to Max Strus. Great backdoor cut. And the Cavaliers just keep adding on to that lead. Darius Garland, he's been quiet on offense to start this season, but a big corner trade there. He knocks it down. The Cavs win at 118-110. It's been 13 long years since the Cavaliers had had a series win against Golden State.
What's up, everyone? My name is Heidi Marshall, and I'm going to be taking you guys around the NBA tonight. All right, let's head all the way out west, where the Lakers face the Portland Trail Blazers in their 10th game of the season. Starting off in the first quarter, missed pass by the Blazers, and Cam Reddish with the steal, takes it down court, gets it and one. Reddish had 18 points and 7 rebounds on the night. Second quarter, Blazers lead by 4. Ball gets swung out to Jameer Bouye, who gets the screen, and Shador Sharp pumps it and swishes that for the 3. Sharp had 19 points on the night. Lakers are still trailing the Blazers. Mays quick pass to Matisse Thybulle, and he hits the 3 with ease. D'Angelo Russell driving in the paint and lobs it up to Anthony Davis, who gets the dunk in for 2. Davis had an outstanding performance with 30 points and 13 rebounds. Rivas has way too much time at the top of the key and bangs a 3, giving the Lakers a 7-point lead in the third quarter. LeBron James right there, loving that. Reeves again, who pulls out, or to Davis, who pulls out the foul and gets the and one. Most of Davis's points were scored inside the paint, and he had 0 threes on the game. The Lakers are still leading. Fourth quarter, Grant does not hold back, and he hits a 3. Grant leads the team with 23 points. Lakers up by 5. Sharp gets a screen, slings it out to Grant, who hits another 3, and he's on fire. Reeves finds Davis again, and he turns with the fade and hits another 2-pointer. End of the fourth quarter, Davis with the overhead pass to Rui Hachimura, who lays it in. Lakers are up by 6. The Lakers move to 5-5 on the season, and the Portland Trail Blazers move to 3-6. Liv, let's head to Arizona.
That's right, Heidi. We are heading on out to the Footprint Center to see the OKC Thunder taking on the Phoenix Suns. We pick things up in the third quarter. The Suns up by 3. Jalen Williams outside of the arc, and we are all tied up at 63. Moving right along, Grayson Allen lobs it over to Kevin Durant, and with the 3-point jumper and the foul, the Suns are now up by 4 with 6 minutes and 41 seconds left to play in the third. It's Josh Giddey on the fast break. He's charging down the court, passes to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who flips it up and in to pull the Thunder within 1 point. And the following possession, good ball movement by the Suns. That's going to end with a Jordan Goodwin 3-pointer to keep the Suns ahead by 4 points. And we head to the fourth. Bradley Beal with a bounce pass to Durant, who hits a corner 3 to put the Suns up by 6. Now, the Suns have historically struggled in the fourth quarter. Hopefully that's not going to happen tonight, but let's keep watching the highlight, folks. Aaron Wiggins drives into the paint, finds a waiting Chet Holmgren, and the big man gets it up and in to pull the Thunder within 2. Holmgren just waiting for Wiggins to call his number, and he does. SGA back it up toward the bucket, turns and banks 2 to put the Thunder ahead by 1 with 7 minutes and 19 seconds left to play. Now it's Jalen Williams looking to extend the Thunder's lead, drives right past Durant for the layup, and he draws the foul, and the Thunder lead 101-95, and Shai calls game with a 27-foot step back jump shot. Bang! And another fourth quarter collapse from the Suns leads to a 111-99 win for the Thunder. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander finished with 35 points, and Williams finished with 31. The Thunder improved to 6-4. The Suns fall to 4-6.
Another Western Conference matchup as Luka versus Zion. This one could be a good one. Spoiler alert, it really wasn't. But I don't blame the Mavs defenders here as they get out of the way. I would too for Zion as he goes right down Broadway and slams it in with one hand. Kyrie Irving, just so crisp on the drive and finish. Irving finished with 35 points and 7 assists on the night, including this one right here to Luka, who has, that's a mismatch and a half, as he gets a wide open 3 and nets it. Time winding down at half. Everybody thinks Luka's taking this shot, but instead he's going to lob it to Dwight Powell, who bounces it to Irving, and he's going to bury the corner 3 at the buzzer. And that shot really took the Pelicans' wind out of their sails as the Mavericks just took over in this third quarter. Luka seemed a little disrespected that Dyson Daniels was covering him as he just goes right around to score and the foul. Luka, great night for him, 30 points, 9 assists, and 4 boards. Well, the Mavs are just having fun at this point as Uncle Drew says, let me have this dance, as he gets to the elbow and nets the mid-range jumper. Mavericks win this one 136-124 and improve to 8-2 on the year, while the Pelicans fall to 4-6, but they get to play tomorrow at 8.
Let's head to San Antonio, where the Spurs face Miami Heat. First quarter, Devin Vassell finds Victor Wembanyama with the floater for 2. Wemby had 18 points, 7 assists, and 11 rebounds. C.D. Osman passes it to Zach Collins, who finds Vassell for a major 3 to give the Spurs an 11-point lead late in the first. Vassell completed the night with 14 points and 7 rebounds. The ball gets loose, Spurs recover it, finding Wemby, who just runs through everyone, making them look like tiny little ants, and the Spurs are still in the lead. Johnson finds Wemby again right under the hoop, and no one can stop him with that size. The Spurs are up 31-15. Jimmy Butler driving, powers through Wemby, and gets the bucket and the foul. Everyone in shock with this play. Fourth quarter, Miami Heat has closed the lead. Malachi Branham driving finds Wemby on his left for the lob, and he slams it down. This is unfair. Jamie Jaquez Jr., who swings it out to Josh Richardson, who takes the 3 from distance. That shot rattles in. He was 2 from 4 from the 3 that night. Richardson driving, puts up the floater, and it is good. Miami's up 114-110 with a minute left in the fourth. Richardson had 12 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds. The final score in Miami was 118 Spurs, 113 Miami. Miami is now 4th in the Eastern Conference.
Well, Heidi, what are your thoughts on Victor Wembanyama's performance so far this year?
To be honest, I'm completely surprised. I know that might be a little iffy, but I actually did not think that he would be doing this well. There's still a lot of the season left, though. I believe that he's going to be a generational player. He is extremely talented, and if he stays healthy and maybe puts some meat on those bones, I believe he can make a major impact in the NBA, and I think he could be around for a while.
What top 5 pick do you think will be a bust this year?
Now, I have to say the twins will be a bust. Amen Thompson and Ashar Thompson. Ashar has played more than his brother this year, but they both have not been performing like some of us thought they would be. I mean, Amen has better ball skills than his brother, which I feel helps him out a lot. The twins put up very similar stats so far this season, while one is superior to the other. It is only by a slight amount, allowing them to be on the same tier of talent, or at most separated by half tier. I do not think these guys will make a big impact as some people would have thought that they would be.
And Heidi, who do you see in the NBA Finals?
All right, I'm going to have to say the 76ers and the Denver Nuggets. The 76ers have changed their offensive play since James Harden, and they have been playing very well. Joel Embiid has been leading this team in all the stats across the board. If he stays healthy and he keeps leading this team, they have a very good chance of making it to the finals.
Well, thank you, Heidi. And good news, Nico Crespo is ready to brew up his hot takes about some of the biggest teams in sports in the Crespo Coffee Hour.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere, and just growing up the way I grew up, and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
I surrender.
All right, pal. Get ready for the day, buddy.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
What's up?
Do we have a gun?
Good evening, espresso lovers. It's me, Nico Crespo, your host of the Crespo Coffee Hour. It's time for some takes that will keep you up at night. Let's dive in. We're going to start with the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are going to miss the playoffs this year, and I have them on fraud watch. 4-5 record through week 10. Justin Herbert, he's doing all he can. He's one of the best QBs in the league, obviously. Keenan Allen, he had over 175 yards last night. Herbert, 300 yards against the Lions. He also had 298 against the Bears. Not hard against the Bears, but he did it against the Lions. Why? You have Austin Eckler too. He seems non-existent in this offense to me. He's more of a pass catcher for sure, but you got to run the ball. You can't average 3 yards per carry. You got to get that ball forward. You can't be passing all the time. You got to be good on running the ball. And you're asking, why isn't the Chargers offense doing so well? They have Justin Herbert, they got Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler. It's because of the defense. The defense is abysmal. They are ranked last in the league, 375 yards per game. You can't do that on a week-to-week basis. You can't do that for success. You just can't have shootouts every single week. You got to hold teams at least under 24 points, and that's stretching it. You just got to be better. Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, they line up opposite each other. They should be complementing each other. They have these games where they have good games, and then they just don't show up. They're super inconsistent. It just doesn't make sense to me. They gave up 41 points to the Lions. You can't do that on a week-to-week basis, like I said. This team with Brandon Staley at head coach, a defensive coach, by the way, 375 yards per game. Defensive head coach with Brandon Staley, you got to fire him. You're not going anywhere with him. They're missing the playoffs. Now, we're going to go to the opponents of the Chargers from last week, the Detroit Lions. How about the Detroit Lions? They will be the #1 seed in the NFC. If you told me the Lions would be in the position they are at the beginning of the season, I'd say, hell yeah! Dan Campbell is, in my opinion, the coach of the year. Jared Goff, what about the Jared Goff resurgence? He is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, had 333 yards yesterday, 70% completion percentage. They have a dual threat with running backs, Jahmyr Gibbs, their first-round pick, and David Montgomery, who they took from the Bears, with over 100 total yards each on offense. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's one of the best receivers in the league, has over 100 yards in 6 of his 8 games played this year. Lions have an upgraded defense as well. They do get exposed from time to time, especially against the Baltimore Ravens. They put up 38 points. And then the Chargers, they obviously put up also 38 points, but they were better than last year. Dan Campbell leading this team, they were 3-13 in 2021, 8-9 in 2022, now 7-2, second in the NFC. Now, compared to the Eagles, the Eagles are at the top at 8-1. The Eagles have a gauntlet of opponents. They have the Niners, Bills, Cowboys, and Chiefs, the next 4. Lions have the Bears twice, Broncos, Saints, and the Vikings too. So, I think the the Lions will be on the top of the NFC. Restore the roar. And now, we're going to let the glasses fly. Let's go to the hardwood, and we're going to go to the Clippers. And I think when they traded for James Harden, I think this is one of the worst trades this year. Liv talked about it this week, or last week. I'm talking about it this week. James Harden is washed. He ruined the chemistry with Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Russell Westbrook. This team was already ball dominant as it is. Now you add James Harden, who is a ball dominant guy. It's not going to mesh well. Ty Lue, he's not going to do well with the stars. He has 4 stars this year. He did well with Kyrie, LeBron, and Love in Cleveland. He's not going to do well in LA. Once again, there's not a big enough ball to share. Managing minutes will be abysmal for Ty Lue. You're going to cut minutes from Kawhi. You're going to cut minutes from Paul George. It's not going to work out. Players are going to get heated. The Clippers just messed up trading for Harden. You get rid of Marcus Morris and Nicholas Batum, good bench pieces in that lineup. You didn't get rid of Terrence Mann, but his minutes got decreased by a lot, putting James Harden in. They are 0-4 with James Harden in their lineup. You got to rest them for 10 games or whatever he said to get influence with the lineup, but it was just a bad move by the Clippers front office, and they're just not going to go anywhere. They're not title contenders. They're not going to go far in the playoffs. And that's all I have for you tonight. I've been your host, Nico Crespo, and I think it's time to view Sports Corner on Ice with Blake and Liv as they talk about the NHL. As always, keep sipping.
Well, thank you, Nico. As you said, we're going to have to take your coffee iced as we head around the NHL. Let's start in the Big Apple as the Blue Jackets visited the Rangers. Good shot there of Madison Square Garden, always an exciting venue to play in. as Eric Goodbranson was dishing the puck tonight as he sends it towards the net, and Justin Danforth gets a stick on it for the redirect goal, and the Blue Jackets take an early 1-0 lead, but it did not last long as Eric Gustafsson sends it over to Chris Kreider, who nets it. An 85-mile-per-hour wrister from the 2009 first-round pick out of Boston College. Some great passing out of New York tonight as Vinny Trocheck passes it across the ice to Alexis Lafreniere to take the lead in the second. Well, just over a minute later, Adam Fantilli evens it up. This one going back and forth. That was a bad turnover by the Rangers in their own zone. Rangers down to their final seconds, and Lafreniere gets the goal off the Kreider assist. Kreider with a goal and assist, Lafreniere with a 2-goal night, and he wasn't done just yet. We went to the shootout, and number 13 ends this one, as the Blue Jackets were just 11 seconds away from walking out of MSG with a victory, but instead lose this one 3-4 in shootouts.
Next up, we've got the Blackhawks taking on the Panthers, but the action is going to start less than a minute into the game. Evan Rodriguez passes it to Sam Reinhart, who swings it over to Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who scores to put the Panthers up 1-0, like I said, within the first 39 seconds of this game. Later in the first, Florida's on the power play. Matthew Tkachuk with the puck connects with Jason Dickinson at the net. Dickinson just tips it into the Panthers' lead 2-1. Tkachuk with some power behind that shot, and Dickinson is ready to poke it in for the Panther power play goal. And with under a minute left in the first, Connor Bedard gets the steal from the Blackhawks for the goal, and he hits the Michael Jordan shrug, Selly. He fits right in Chi-Town. Bedard is just going to snag the puck away from Kevin Stendlin and swipes it in, and we are knotted at 2. And very shortly after, Bedard knots his second goal of the game right over the right shoulder of Sergei Bobrovsky. 2-time Vezina winner, couldn't block the rookie. And we know he's making noise like he was going to do in the NHL. Florida on the power play. We are tied 3-3. Good puck movement for the Panthers. A quick block, but Carter Verhaeghe is quick to get the rebound and smash it in to put the Panthers up 4-3. Take a quick look. Soderblom got the block initially, but didn't protect his right side, and Verhaeghe was quick to monopolize on that, and the Panthers come away with a 4-3 win.
Well, we've had some exciting games so far. Let's see if the Pens and Sabres can hold up to that. Evgeny Malkin. What? Let's just watch that again. He hits it backhand, and he gets the goal from behind the net. That is the first time I've seen that. I mean, what a play from Malkin to send that one on. Well, Drew O'Connor wants to get involved also. He gets the puck in open ice and snaps it in for the goal, and a 2-0 Penguins lead. O'Connor's first goal in 32 games. Pens fans gotta love to see that. Well, Pittsburgh's going to be on the power play here and add another one as they swing it around up top, and Erik Karlsson nets it right down Broadway. He had 2 of them on the night. As you watch this one again, as it gets a little help from the Sabre defender, deflects off the stick and finds the top left corner, and Pittsburgh wins it 4-0. They're on a 4-game win streak and visit Columbus tomorrow to take on the Blue Jackets.
Finally, we head out to Washington, where the Oilers are visiting the Kraken. Edmonton headed down the ice. Evander Kane and Zach Hyman are passing it back and forth till Hyman sets up his shot and smacks it past Grubauer. Take another look. Grubauer moves just a millisecond too late. The Oilers are up 1-0 now. It's Evan Bouchard taking a shot at the net. Doesn't go, but Hyman is right there to sink it in, and that makes his second score of the night. And Grubauer is really struggling to block these rebound shots from the Oilers. With under a minute left in the first period, Kane takes a shot and Grubauer blocks it. Now there's some scuffling at the net, but Hyman is there once again to get his hattie. That's 3 goals for the Oilers, and all 3 are courtesy of Hyman. Take a look. He just sees the puck and pokes it in, despite the Oilers being outnumbered at the net. Jumping ahead of the third, the Oilers are now up by 4. Vince Dunn passes to Eli Tolvanen, who takes a shot at the net, and Jaden Schwartz is there to finish it off and deflect it into the goal. But the Oilers still will come away with a W, 4-1 over the Seattle Kraken. All right, everyone, do not touch that dial. Our award-winning segments, including The Man on the Silver Mountain, are coming up on the other side of the break.
I'll be here to hear what's on your mind. Take this time to talk and get it right. You know I'll be there all your life. When you need me, I'll be by your side. By your side. And every day is a different day. Everything is in everything. Even when you think things could never ever be the same. Don't be scared of the world, I'll be here to stay. By your side. Even when your heart ain't listening, or your mind takes you a different way, towards a different path. All you gotta do is sit and ask. When you need me, I'll be by your side.
When the adults in a child's life talk early and often about the dangers of underage drinking, the message gets stronger every time.
I'll be by your side.
Talk. They hear you.
Welcome back to Sports Corner, as we will take a dive into some of our award-winning segments featuring one of, if not the most exciting female athletes in the world in my segment, Empowerment. For My Empowerment this week, we are checking back in with Caitlin Clark, who made history yesterday at the University of Iowa. In yesterday's game against Northern Iowa, Clark became Iowa's all-time leading scorer with 2,813 points, beating the previous record of Megan Gustafson, who scored 2,804 points. Clark also got her 12th triple-double with 24 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds. She now joins WNBA star Sabrina Ionescu as the only D1 players to have triple-doubles in 4 different seasons. Clark, who is regarded as the best player in college basketball, is only getting started. There are plenty more games to play, and she doesn't have her eye on any record or even topping the AP poll, but rather her goal is bringing a national title back to Cedar Falls, a goal which is well within Iowa's reach. Congrats, Caitlin.
Welcome into Blake's Best Bets. Last week we had a little sweep on our hands as the Patriots got knocked off by the Colts and the over hit in that Texans-Bengals game. So let's run that same thing back. I'm going to stay with the Bengals. I'm betting against them, though, as the Ravens has a -3.5. I think that's way too small for a dominant Ravens team. I know they lost to the Browns, but that was a crazy good game against a crazy good defense. The Bengals are nowhere near the talent that the Ravens have, I believe. I think the Ravens can run away with this one, maybe winning by 2+ touchdowns. And my other one, the Dolphins, -12 versus the Raiders. I know new coaches for the Raiders have them going in that right directions, but the Dolphins have been in the right direction all year long. They are 2-touchdown favorite. I think they can easily propel themselves up by 21 points early and just hold on to that. That offense is just way too high octane for that Vegas defense. Parlay those two together, $10 will win you $36.13.
All right, look, we really didn't talk about him last week, and after yesterday, we really got to give him his props. From my man on Silver Mountain, it is Josh Dobbs, the new QB of the Minnesota Vikings. Dobbs, also known as the Pastronaut on account of his rocket science degree, managed to jump into Minnesota's offense last week after not taking a single rep with the team, and he had 3 touchdowns in Minnesota's win over the Falcons. Now, you may just think this was a fluke, like Baker Mayfield's win with the Rams, but Dobbs just proved it was not. He went 23 for 34 for 268 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, and 1 rushing touchdown. Dobbs said he wanted to make sure the game against Atlanta wasn't written off by proving he can lead this team to more than 1 win, and he has done that. The sky is the limit for Dobbs, and I cannot wait to see what the Pastronaut does next.
I'm going to stick with a quarterback for my man on the Silver Mountain, Houston's C.J. Stroud. I mean, he has just played out of his mind this whole season. Stroud is second in the NFL in passing yards and ranks top 10 in almost every quarterback efficiency metric. I mean, let's be straight. Houston has a bad run game and a mediocre defense, but great quarterbacks can accelerate a team's timeline, and that is exactly what Stroud is doing. I mean, his receiving core isn't anything to talk about either. He's just doing it by himself. I mean, he's a lock for Rookie of the Year, and he's even in the MVP conversation as a rookie. He gives me RG3 rookie vibes, and that is amazing for him. He's been more efficient than a lot of big-name quarterbacks. He's picked up impressive wins against Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, now Cincy, 470 yards, 5 touchdowns versus Tampa Bay, and then coming back and beating Cincy with 356 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, he has just played amazing. They have Arizona next week, then a big AFC South matchup against the Jaguars in 2 weeks. Let's see if Stroud can keep his amazing play up.
All right, and for All-Pro Hell No this week, we're keeping things in the AFC North. All-Pro or Hell No, the Bengals missed the playoffs.
I'm going to go All-Pro on that. I mean, you just heard me talk about it. I don't think they have the talent of a stout AFC North division. It is going to be hard to pick up wins. They have a very hard game against Baltimore, and it doesn't get any easier after that. I just don't see a lot of injuries also at the wide receiver core. You hate to see that, but that's also dismantled their season a bit. I think that they're going to be close. They're going to stay around 500, but I see some teams jumping them for that final wild card spot.
You know what, Blake? I'm absolutely saying hell no here. I completely disagree with you on the strength of the remaining Bengals schedule. I mean, they've got 2 games against the Steelers. We know those are winnable. A game against the Colts, that's also easily winnable. And the Jags, like you said, they've got some injuries, but I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be able to come back from this. I think the Bengals are just going to be just fine. fine. No hitting the panic button yet, Bengals fans. Not yet. Maybe soon.
Maybe.
But not yet. And that is all the time we have for you tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in.
For all sports updates, follow our socials at TV2 KSU Sports on X and Instagram.
I've been Liv Sharp.
And I'm Blake Aloja. Have a great night, everyone.
Hey, did you know that 2 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Go to theshelterpetproject.org and search your local shelters and rescues. Go for a cuddle with your next best friend.
To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow. I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I